Hello, everybody, and welcome to Leroy High School, the site of this afternoon's Section 5 boys basketball matchup between the host and number 3 seeded Leroy Owacken Knights and visiting number 6 seeded Bath-Haverling Rams. This is a Class B2 quarterfinal matchup. My name is Alex Brasky here for the Batavia Daily News Sports Network, joined by Mia Laughlin. She'll be working the controls for tonight's broadcast, and we're just about to get underway here with our introductions. Set to begin here with the Rams, followed by the Owacken Knights. But first and foremost, we'd like to thank our sponsors for tonight's broadcast, beginning with Casella Waste. Casella is your number one service provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Are you looking for residential pickup at your house, a dumpster or roll-off service for your place of business? Call Casella Waste and check out their great rates on local waste removal. Casella is your number one provider for all your waste and recycling needs and is always putting your waste to work. Call 585-308-0662 today for a quote. Also, Bubba's Landscape. Do you need landscaping services for your home or business? You can count on Bubba's Landscape right here in Leroy, New York, working on residential and commercial landscapes throughout Western New York. Whether you need your driveway shoveled or new flower beds for your front lawn, you can count on Bubba's Landscape's superior attention to detail, timely completion, and competitive rates for any kind of landscaping work you may need. Get an estimate today. Call 585-768-6578 to schedule landscaping and lawn maintenance for your home or business. Also, Genesee Community College. Genesee, your path. GCC offers 60-plus affordable academic programs and over 120 scholarships for you to begin your next journey. Apply for free online at genesee.edu/apply or call 866-CALL-GCC. Today, also, Orcon Industries, a new sponsor here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. Certainly appreciate their service, along with all of our other sponsors here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. Orcon Industries, packaging and shipping your fragile products is their specialty. At Orcon, they ensure that your products remain safe and secure so that they stay protected. Contact Orcon today for more information. And of course, Casella Waste, our scoreboard sponsor, and Crazy Cheap Cars, the ultimate in price and selection. Find your next vehicle at crazycheapcars.com. They carry the largest selection of over 150 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs of any dealer in the Genesee region. And also, UR Medicine Noise Health, high-quality care, close to home. We'd also like to remind you that we have two other broadcasts this afternoon and this evening. We have a 3 o'clock start between Batavia and Livonia, the Class B1 quarterfinal, followed by the Class D1 quarterfinal between Notre Dame and Honeoye. Coming up after this Class B2 quarterfinal between Leroy and Bath-Haverling. Merritt Holly Jr. gets Leroy started on the right foot. 1,000-point scorer during his junior season is Holly Jr. He's been quite impressive throughout his career here that has spanned 4 seasons at the varsity level under head coach Matt Weinman. He will be the leading scorer for Leroy tonight, barring a miracle, as they like to get it to him early and often, and he likes to put it through the rim early and often as well. Bath-Haverling, coached by John Van Sciver. As you see, Holly Jr. in transition missed that lay-in. Rebound goes to Jake Hagedorn. It will really be a battle between Holly Jr. and Hagedorn here this evening. Two impressive forwards here in the Livingston Conference. But a quick note about these two teams: although they both reside within the Livingston Conference, they did not face off against one another this season. 16 teams within the Livingston Conference. Typically, within a league, you would see a vast majority, if not all, of the opponents within that league. As the Genesee region is concerned, all teams play each other, but within such a sizable league such as the Livingston Conference, this is the first meeting between these two teams here this evening. Haverling comes in with a record of 10-11, while Leroy comes in with a record of 11-9. As I said before, Leroy the number 3 seed, Haverling the number 6. Should be a good game here inside the castle at Leroy High School. Nice drive and nice post passing there from the Rams as Austin Durand finds Gavin Price on the opposite block. 2 points for the Rams, and we're all tied up with 2 minutes gone nearly here in the first quarter. Merritt Holly Jr. over to Gene Augusto, and Augusto is fouled. He'll head to the line for 2 shots. I'll give you a quick breakdown of the Class B2 bracket and how these 2 teams arrived at this point. Leroy with a bye entering the quarterfinal round as they draw the number 3 seed entering the B2 tournament. Haverling was forced to go against Early College, a blowout win in the pre-quarterfinal for the Rams, so that's how they reached this matchup with the Oweka Knights. The winner of this afternoon's game will take on the winner of another local matchup, Dansville and Attica in Class B2, coming up later tonight. You can find that game on the Dansville Athletics YouTube channel. So it could be a Livingston Conference matchup once again in the semifinal if Dansville and Leroy are to hold their higher seeds in advance. Although Attica and Haverling trying to play spoiler and work their way to a Cinderella run. Quick note on Attica, they did defeat North Rose Wolcott by a sizable margin last night. And big news for the Blue Devils, they got one of their forwards back that's been injured for much of the season, as you saw there. Duran knocked down two of two free throws to make it a 2-point Rams lead, but Attica returned Clayton Bizon to the lineup, and he is a key force for the Blue Devils, his first game in quite some time. And he hit a 3-pointer, knocked down a long jumper as well. Good work inside for the sizable forward, so he'll certainly play a large role for the Blue Devils going up against the Mustangs later tonight at 6 p.m. Holly Jr. turns it over back to the Rams with an early 2-point advantage. Tried to lob it inside to Hagedorn, but it was too long out of the hands of Justin Yale. Yale, the quarterback for the Bath-Haverling football team, and playing a significant role here tonight on the hardwood as well. See Holly Jr. fouled on the dribble, and Leroy will keep it underneath here, trailing by 2.5 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Nice strong move to the rim by Holly Jr., but he was fouled before he was able to elevate for the layup that will keep the ball on the floor. Leroy set to inbound. Had a bit of confusion with who the foul was on, but we get that sorted out, and we're ready to go now. Inbound to Parker Dowell, tries the 3 all the way around the rim and out. Gene Augusto, strong rebound and the putback. That's what he can do inside. Saw it on our air during the Batavia Lions Club tournament. I believe Augusto came away with 20 rebounds in Leroy's opening round win over over Roy Hart. And you saw Haverling's Yale get the lay-in, and the Rams regained the lead here. A turnover by the Knights created that bucket by Yale, and another near turnover by the Knights, but that one appeared to be knocked away by the Rams, much to the chagrin of the Bath-Haverling faithful. They saw it otherwise. Inbound to Augusto, probing for room inside, and he finishes. Through a little bit of contact, shows the strength that this Oweka Knights forward possesses. Here comes Haverling. Hagedorn dribbles it off his leg out of bounds, but the official calls it off of Leroy. I have a bad vantage point, don't get me wrong, but it appeared as if he dribbled it off his leg. So 6-6 here, all square in the first quarter of this B2 quarterfinal matchup. Two Livingston Conference foes going at it. And two of the top forwards within the Livingston Conference. And I really should say 3 with the addition of Augusto to Holly Jr. and Hagedorn. They've really been strong throughout the season. Hagedorn for three, stretching it out, no good, off the front of the rim. Augusto, another rebound on the defensive end. Holly Jr. kicks it out. And a good drive and finish off glass. Andrew Pocock getting it done for the Knights now, and that's another name that is familiar for these Knights fans as Duran knocks down the three. Bath-Haverling answering at every turn here in the early going. But to bring up Pocock once again is Holly. The floater in the lane is good. He and Pocock connected on perhaps the play of the year within the Livingston Conference, as you see the travel called against Bath-Haverling. Kobe Moore dragged the pivot foot, and it will go back to the Knights. But during a game against Geneseo, to send it to overtime, Pocock, inbounding from underneath the opposite basket, threw it nearly the length of the floor, connected with Holly Jr. near the volleyball line. Holly Jr. falling out of bounds, threw up a desperation heave, knocked it off the glass and in to tie the game, send it to overtime. And I believe he hit another buzzer beater in the first or second overtime to eventually send the Knights to a triple overtime victory in that game over Geneseo. The video went quite viral throughout Section 5. You can find it on our various social media channels if you scroll down quite a bit, but it was quite the play from those two Leroy athletes and a memorable moment for sure for Coach Weinman's team as Bath-Haverling continuing their strong start to this game. Yale at the basket now, or excuse me, at the free throw line after finishing at the basket. 3-point play opportunity coming up. And Augusto would have given him another opportunity had he missed that free throw, as Augusto going in a bit too early, creating a lane violation. But once that ball goes through the basket, the lane violation is negated. So a few subs have come on for Haverling here. Ethan Nerby into the game for the first time tonight. You also see a few new players for Leroy. Eric Luce onto the floor along with Jake Higgins. Nice move from Augusto. Pull up from the first marker. Boy, oh boy, as this young man progressed his game from the beginning of the year. He did not have that in his arsenal in game one of the season, but give him credit. He has really developed his skill set. Merritt Holly Jr. takes it away on the run down the lane, finishing at the rim. Leroy out in front. Three minutes remaining here in the first on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. The Class B2 quarterfinal. Number 3 Leroy leading number 6 Bath-Haverling in an early seesaw battle here at Leroy High School, as Holly Jr. tips it to himself and now leading the break. Like a bull in a china shop, barreling over Haverling defenders who apparently, according to the official, did not have position, as Durand is going to be hit with a foul here, and that's going to send Holly Jr. to the line for 2 shots. Once again, this game brought to you by Casella Waste, our scoreboard sponsor here this afternoon. Your local waste and recycling service provider, 585-308-0662. You can also visit them at casella.com. Holly Jr. misses from the free throw line. More subs coming on for each side. Haverling will send Ezra Hode into the game, while Leroy will send Cal Kokitis on for Augusto. A well-earned break for the Leroy big man. He's been working hard here this afternoon. Holly Jr. 0 for 2, empty trip to the charity stripe. Rare empty trip for the Leroy forward, and now he travels. Ugly sequence there for Holly Jr., and the Rams will take it back. Our youngest fan in attendance making her way down the bleachers, and what a life these young kids live. They don't even have to walk around on their own. Oh, to be a kid again. To her defense, maybe she can't walk yet. I'm not really well versed with when that happens. Not a parent myself, so don't really have a good judge of how old that young lady is. Good finish inside for the Rams, and we're all square at 14 apiece. Just a reminder, this is the first of 3 games on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network here this afternoon/evening. We'll have Batavia versus Livonia in the Class B1 quarterfinal, followed by Notre Dame versus Honeoye in the Class D1 quarterfinal as Holly Jr. through the contact 3-point play opportunity coming up for the Owecken Knights leading scorer. And another sub coming on for Haverling. They're going deep into the bench here as Caden Minich steps in. Three-point play for Holly Jr. Leroy in the lead by 3. And a travel. Loose, bringing it up for Leroy. Holly Jr. now inside, nice finish. Awkward angle, almost went in, and now Bath-Haverling with a second opportunity, but it's knocked away. Nice pass in transition, and Pocock finishes at the rim before Haverling calls timeout. Leroy with its largest lead of the game at 7 points. We're inside a minute to go here in the first. We'd like to thank Bubba's Landscape, also Genesee Community College, Orcon Industries, Casella Waste, our scoreboard sponsor here tonight. Crazy Cheap Cars, UR Medicine Noise Health. We'd also like to remind you, coming up at 3 p.m., Livonia taking on Batavia in the Class B1 quarterfinal. We'll be heading down Route 5 in just about an hour here to catch that game. And following that game at 6 p.m., Honeoye heading to Batavia to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So out of the timeout, Bath-Haverling trying to close this first quarter strong as they've fallen behind by 7 points. It was back and forth in the early going, but now turnovers are starting to kill the Rams. Holly Jr., nice job by the Rams collapsing on him near the rim, and they combined for the rejection inside. Nice defense there applied by Justin Yale and Gavin Price. Excuse me, Caden Minich and Gavin Price. Kokitas launching it down the court, ill-advised, and the Rams take it right back. Inside to Minich, steps through, and a travel is called. We've reached the end of the first quarter. We'll take a quick break here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. Here are the Leroy cheerleaders. Back to action here at Leroy High School. To start the second quarter, Haverling trails by 7. Hagedorn tries the three. He's been quiet here tonight. And give the Knights credit for their defensive effort in that regard. Inside, Holly Jr., power dribble, and up, and in. Holly Jr. red hot here in the early going. He has paced Leroy's 9-point advantage. Inside look, Hagedorn, empty-handed once again. Out of bounds off the Rams, it will stay with the Knights. Loose with it now on the wing. Gets it to Higgins. Looking for a man. Holly able to break free. Has it knocked away. Here come the Rams now. Looking for a transition opportunity, but forced to pull it back out is Kobe Moore. Now into the hands of Yale. Puts it on the floor. Attacks Holly Jr. Pocock also in there on the defense. Now here come the Knights. Holly with it. Nice ball fake and nice control and patience inside. And the finish. It's been an impressive night. Afternoon here for Merritt Holly Jr. Already closing in on 15 points. Cal Kokitas takes it away, launches it ahead for Holly Jr. This time a great outlet from Kokitas, and it leads to the finish at the rim. Merritt Holly Jr. with a chance at a three-point play. Leroy ahead by 11. Augusto set to check back in for the Knights. And another timeout called. We'll tell you about our sponsors once again. Bubba's Landscape. Do you need landscaping services for your home or business? Count on Bubba's Landscape in Leroy, New York. Working on residential and commercial landscapes throughout Western New York. Whether you need your driveway shoveled or new flower beds for your front lawn, you can count on Bubba's superior attention to detail, timely completion, and competitive rates for any type of landscaping work you may need. Get an estimate today. Call 585-768-6578 to schedule landscaping and lawn maintenance for your home or business. Also, Genesee Community College. Genesee, your path. GCC offers 60-plus affordable academic programs and over 120 scholarships for you to begin your next journey. Apply for free at genesee.edu/apply or call 866-CALL-GCC today. Also, Orcon Industries, packaging and shipping your fragile products is their specialty. At Orcon, they ensure that your products remain safe and secure so that they stay protected. Contact Orcon today for more information. Also, Casella Waste. Are you looking for residential pickup at your house, a dumpster, or roll-off service for your place of business? Call Casella Waste and check out their great rates on local waste removal. Casella is your #1 provider for all your waste and recycling needs and is always putting your waste to work. Also, Crazy Cheap Cars, the ultimate in price and selection. Find your next vehicle at crazycheapcars.com. They carry the largest selection of over 120 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs of any dealer in the Genesee region. Holly Jr. unable to complete the three-point play while we were reading our final advertisement. 13-point lead for the Knights, under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Nice look to Yale, but he couldn't collect it from Hagedorn. And the Rams are just all out of sorts here in the early going. They haven't found a rhythm offensively, seemingly not on the same page with one another on a few of these passes, and it's led to a number of turnovers, and the Knights are taking advantage on the offensive end. Pocock on the perimeter to Holly Jr. all the way to the rim. Holly Jr. closing in on a 20-point first half. He's been unstoppable here in the early going, the Rams need to make some sort of adjustment. Coming into this game, you had to believe if you were Haverling, you didn't want Holly Jr. to beat you. You wanted to force the Knights' other players to step up, as you see Higgins there stepping up and taking the charge. But that hasn't been the case. Holly Jr. has gotten every look he's wanted. He's caught the ball inside. He's been able to dribble with relative ease to the basket. Rams need to do something different against the Leroy forward here. Holly Jr. in the corner. Gets it to the high post. Fading away. Good look with the left hand, but unable to connect was Xander Staba into the game for the first time tonight. 3 ball! The Rams trying to work their way back into things, and Kobe Moore for 3. Augusto, that's deadly spin move. And the finish. Boy, oh boy, is that like the Tasmanian devil. The quickness of that spin move and also the tenaciousness of that move as well. A foul inside called against the Knights. A little bit of unrest growing here amongst the Rams faithful. And a nice job by the Leroy administration here stepping in and quelling any of that unrest. You don't see that often enough at high school venues, the administration taking the bull by the horns, but great job shown here by the Leroy administration. That's what you like to see, supporting the officials. They do a nice job. They give their effort for these kids, and they don't make a lot of money doing it, so it's tough to scream at them from across the court and look yourself in the mirror after you go home. At least from my perspective. For others, I guess it's a bit easier of a process. So Augusto on the rebound. Here come the Knights now. Loose, leading the slow break, and a timeout called by Leroy with 3:48 remaining in the half. They lead it by 14. We take a quick break, but we will tell you about our games coming up here. You're okay. I'm going to tell you about our other games. Mia doing a great job working the controls here for us on the BDN Sports Network, and we don't have the most high-tech system, so we do have to sequence through all of our ads to get to the promo graphics for the games coming up, and it can be quite a frustrating process for Mia, but she's learning to deal with the stresses of the job. She's done a great job shadowing here for us at the Batavia Daily News, and here's our first game coming up at 3 p.m., Livonia versus Batavia, and then we have Notre Dame taking on Honeoye at 6 p.m. Livonia will come within about a half hour of this game ending, so make sure you stay tuned right here to the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. It's sure to be an exciting afternoon and evening. So just under 3:50 remaining, and Eric Luce knocks down the 3. The Knights have it all clicking here in the first half. Holly Jr. has set the pace. Augusto has followed through, and Luce now knocking down shots from the perimeter. Augusto collects the loose ball and off Haverling, out of bounds. That one tipped away. And the Rams get the roll. Nice steal and finish in transition as Durand found more at the basket. Here's Staba in the corner, working his way along the baseline. Outlets it to Luce. Had trouble collecting it initially. That allowed the Rams to close out. Now Holly working the ball fake, back into the corner for Luce, tries the three, and Eric Luce heating up here at Leroy. And a timeout called by the Rams. Back-to-back threes for Eric Luce, and the Knights' lead has swelled to 18 points. We'd like to thank our sponsors, beginning with Bubba's Landscape. Also, Genesee Community College. Also, Orcon Industries. Also, Casella Waste. Crazy Cheap Cars. And You Are Medicine Noise Health. Also, a fan from Bath-Haverling getting involved in corralling some unrest within the student section, or the fan section. You also like to see that. Fellow fans taking accountability for their fellow fans from their school and making sure they're representing their school correctly. And it's really the goal of any fan base that travels this far to watch their team play. You want to make sure you leave a good impression. And it appears a few here within the Haverling fan section have made that a priority. Kudos to them. 2:46 remaining here in the first half. 18-point lead for Leroy. It's been a tough go for the Rams here in the early going. And a lot of it has been due to their inability to slow down Merritt Holly Jr. But don't get it twisted. He's not been the only one contributing for the Knights. Gene Augusto, a great start to this game, and Eric Luce heating up here in the second quarter. Coach Weinman came in with a nice game plan to get Holly involved, and it's worked to near perfection here. The only flaw for Holly was that ugly sequence where he missed a few free throws and then had to travel, but other than that, it's been a near flawless effort for the Leroy forward. As you see, the Rams finish their 16-point lead for the Knights now. And give the Rams credit. They're continuing to put in the effort on both ends of the floor. It can be difficult in the early going. You work up your emotions, you get excited for this game, and to come out and put forth a flat effort and allow Leroy to control the early going of this game. But there hasn't been any flatness in terms of the Rams' effort. Just haven't been able to put the ball in the basket. Haven't been able to find their rhythm offensively, but they've certainly been working hard on both ends of the floor. Coach Van Sciver motivating his team here in this Class B2 quarterfinal matchup. And for some of these players, it could be their last game, so they want to make sure they put their best effort there on the floor. And Augusto a little over aggressive. As two players go crashing to the floor, it's Augusto and Minich. And the Rams will take it out underneath as Hagedorn checks back in for his teammate Nerby. Nerby, a talented player for the Rams football team as well. As you see, Hagedorn finish inside. Good to see him get on the board if you're a Rams fan. They're going to need a lot more from him if they hope to work their way back. But a mini spurt here, 4-0 run for Haverling, knocking an 18-point deficit down to 14. And now the steal here with a little bit of pressure created by the Rams defense. And Kobe Moore finishes the layup. And Leroy forced to call timeout. We take a quick break here at Leroy High School. All right, 1:23 remaining in this second quarter. 12-point lead for Leroy. It was once at 18. A 6-0 run currently for Bath-Haverling, looking to close this second quarter strong. And Holly with a rare air ball there. And Bath-Haverling with another opportunity now to cut it back down to 10. Free ball. Around the rim and out. Durant just couldn't get the shooter's touch. That would have been huge for the Rams. Augusto, short corner, and he traveled. So Leroy enduring a bit of a cold spell here. Some unforced errors, some missed shots, and the Rams with a chance to cut it under 10 here in the final minute of the second quarter. And I think if you asked Coach Van Sciver, even entering this game, but particularly with the way this game has transpired, I think a sub 10-point deficit would be advantageous for the Rams. So that just became a little bit more difficult of a proposition as we're now under 30 seconds remaining, 1 second separating the game clock and the shot clock here at Leroy High School. Loose in the corner, had a chance at the three, but Leroy wants to hold for the last shot here. Loose in the corner again. Back up top, Maverick McKenzie. Ollie Jr. on the wing. Up top to Pocock, three. And he's fouled, and he'll head to the line for 3 shots. A poor decision there from the Rams, a critical error. And now Pocock with a chance to extend this lead back to 15. That's a cardinal sin committed by the Bath-Haverling defense following the jump shooter, especially inside 5 seconds of the shot clock. And 5 seconds of the game clock, for that matter. Pocock makes the first, looking to make the Rams pay for their mistake here. Two for two. It's not often you see all 3 free throws made. We'll see if Pocock can pull off the somewhat rare feat, and he does. 1 second remaining. The launch from the backcourt. Short of the basket. We head to halftime here at Leroy. Leroy with a 15-point lead. We'll be back on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. All right, we're back here at Leroy High School, the site of this afternoon Section 5 Class B2 quarterfinal. On the Casella scoreboard, Leroy, number 3 Leroy, leads at 40-25 over number 6 Bath-Haverling. Merritt Holly Jr. having his way throughout the first half against this Rams defense. We'll see if he can continue his hot start to this game throughout the second half. Gene Augusto and Eric Luce also with some key buckets in that first half, and it's really been a team effort for Leroy on the defensive end. So the Knights looking to hold their top seed and advance, and Rams looking to come back here in the second half. Taken away by Austin Durand, a good start for Haverling. And here come the Rams, 3-ball, air ball. And rebounded by the Rams, another chance, but that one's rejected by Holly Jr. On the break now come the Knights. Parker Dowell finishes at the rim. Dowell getting involved. Nice transition bucket. And a travel called against Leroy. Still a little bit of unrest here in the Haverling crowd, and kudos to the Leroy athletic director, Matt Davis, now giving the Haverling fans their final warning here. Great job by this entire Leroy administration. Can't yell at the officials. You can have disagreements, you can criticize them amongst each other in the stands, but you cannot yell across the court at the officials. There is no room for that as a fan. You are not a part of the proceedings. You are simply here to watch. Time for many of fans throughout Section 5 to learn that perhaps the hard way. Augusto collects the ball off the backboard. Turnaround finish. And Leroy increases its lead. It's up to 19 points, its largest here this afternoon. Its previous highest lead, was 18 points, now up to 19 points. Hagedorn makes the first free throw. Two for two for Hagedorn. Holly Jr. responds on the other end. Hagedorn, nice strong move and the finish. That's what Bath-Haverling needs, their big man to get involved in this second half. Augusto, the travel. We're going the other way. Oh, looking for Hagedorn inside. A little bit of a force from Moore. Now Leroy has it in transition before Durand takes it away and throws it away. Holly Jr. off glass. Moore headed to the line for two shots. Moore connects on the first. Two for two for Kobe Moore. Along the baseline goes Holly Jr., and he's fouled at the rim. Leroy's lead up to 18 following the free throws from Holly Jr. 5:20 remaining here in the third quarter on the Casella Waste scoreboard. Casella, your #1 service provider for all your waste and recycling needs. Another turnover there. Rams will take it back. And an offensive foul. Andrew Pocock sticks his nose in there. Rams get the stop on the other end inside 5 minutes remaining here. 18-point lead for Leroy. Three ball from Hagedorn, no good. And the Rams haven't knocked away, the Knights had it knocked away, but they regained possession. Higgins skip pass to Luce, another three. No good. And a nice rebound from Nerby and a foul committed by the Knights. Moore, no good. Rebound goes to Higgins. Higgins from the elbow, no good. Holly Jr. tipped it away. Pocock keeps it alive for Leroy. Three ball from Pocock around the rim and out. Higgins, another chance for Leroy now. Holly Jr. down the lane line, ball fake, and the finish. The unstoppable afternoon continues for Merritt Holly Jr. Inside finish for the Rams, and some good defense there from Duran. Thought he created an extra possession there and the turnover by the Knights, but it was called off of Haverling, so it will stay with Leroy here. Kokidis from the middle of the lane. Plenty of names getting it done for Leroy here this afternoon. Here comes Leroy after another empty possession for Haverling. Here comes Moore now in transition, and the finish Kobe Moore, a nice finish, a chance at a three-point play. And a nice trip there for Moore. 17-point lead for Leroy. They call for a timeout with 2:24. We'll thank our sponsors here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network, beginning with Bubba's Landscape, walkways, retaining walls, hardscapes, landscape tree and shrubs, bed maintenance, stumbling over my words here, lawn care, fertilization. They get it all done at Bubba's Landscape. Also, Genesee Community College, over 120 scholarships offered, and 88% of full-time students receive financial aid. Apply for free online at genesee.edu. Also, Orcon Industries, request a custom packaging quote. Orcon keeps your fragile items safe and secure. Also, Casella Waste will save your business time and money on trash and recycling services. And Crazy Cheap Cars has the ultimate in price and selection. Also brought to you by UR Medicine Noise Health, quality care close to home. So here we go, Leroy protecting a 17-point lead, the waning moments here in the third quarter. Here's McKenzie with it at the top of the key. Inside to Holly Jr., outside to McKenzie, right back to Holly Jr. And now Higgins has it in the corner. Lobbed into Holly Jr., over to McKenzie. The three from the wing, air ball, looked like it was tipped by Bath-Haverling. And here come the Rams within 15 with a minute and a half remaining here in the third quarter. They have not quit on this game one bit. The effort has been there since the opening tap. Give these Rams ballers credit. And give Coach Van Sciver credit as well, as he's continued to preach effort, and they've continued to produce it. Hasn't been the cleanest night on the offensive end for the Rams, but boy, oh boy, are they putting forth quite the effort. And good sportsmanship shown there by Hagedorn, helping Kokitis off the floor. 1:10 remaining here in the third. Kokitis to the line for two. For one. Subs coming on for Haverling. Snow beginning to fall outside, Mia. That doesn't bode well for your trip back to Geneseo, my trip to Batavia. Nor does it bode well for anybody in general. I think we've had too much. Kokitis knocks it down, 16-point lead now. Hagedorn down the baseline, tried to bounce it over, but he bounced it out of bounds. Was looking for Cameron Seeger, a senior captain for this team, but was unable to connect with him. Quick update from Albany. We had two local wrestlers advance to the New York State semifinal within their respective classification. Alexander senior Ben Merrill and Batavia junior Casper Stewart. Both of them were ousted during their semifinal matches, and both working for a third place finish like I said, at the MVP Arena in Albany. It's been a successful wrestling season. You saw Leroy's Tony Piazza win a sectional title in his first year returning to the mat. I think he wrestled when he was a kid, but had since gone to basketball and helped Leroy as one of their top contributors last year before returning to the mat this year and earning his sectional title. And what a winter season for Piazza. In Section 5 wrestling as a whole, they sent 11 wrestlers from this local area, the Glow region, to the state championships. 2 from Lindenville, 2 from Letchworth, 2 from Perry. We had 1 from Dansville, Wayland, Cohocton, 1 from Batavia, 1 from Alexander, 1 from Byron Burgeon. I think I got all 11 there, but I mean, it was just fantastic winter for area grapplers, and it's always the case here in Section 5, one of the top wrestling sections in all of New York State. It's just too bad we won't have a state champ this year, as many thought that Durand knocks it down for 3. Many thought Stewart, from the minute the season started, had a golden opportunity due to his diligent work in the offseason and the time and effort he's put into developing his skills and his body over the years. He's certainly turned himself into quite the wrestler. He's won 4 or 5 sectional titles and put forth quite the record. Won the Eastern States Classic tournament, a prestigious tournament on the East Coast. And Stewart had quite the season, but just ran into a buzzsaw in the semifinal. Athlete that he had previously defeated during the regular season in overtime, but this time that athlete, I'm spacing on his name, but got the better of Stewart this time around. And the fortunate thing for Stewart is he will have another year to go for that state title, and you can bet your bottom dollar the 2-time All-American in Fargo will put all of his time into working toward that state title next year. He's an impressive athlete, an impressive young man, and bright future ahead for him for sure, while Merrill will see his career wind to a close at the conclusion of the state championships. But what a career from Merrill, just putting Alexander Wrestling on the map once again. A great run for Alexander Wrestling over the years. Mitch Geiser made it all the way to the state final last year, now sending Merrill to the semifinal. The Trojans certainly doing it right out there on the mat. So good luck to all of our wrestlers still competing for places out there, including Stewart and Merrill. And also good luck to our indoor track athletes who qualified for states. We had a couple here from Leroy, Charlotte Blake and Bella Conadorio, the dynamic track and field duo, advancing to the prestigious state championships, along with several others from the Glow region. We also still have some swimmers competing in the state championships. One right here, I believe just one. Forgive me if there's more than one, but one that I know of from Leroy offhand anyway, Jackson Fix. He's second straight year at the state championships, and he's part of a fine local contingent from the Genesee region that have punched their ticket to the state championships. Leroy obviously within the Livingston Conference, but they compete with Byron Burgeon during the swim season and compete within the Genesee region. So Fix and I think 5 or 6 other Genesee region male swimmers going to the state championships down the road here. So good luck to them. Good luck to indoor track athletes, wrestling athletes. We had cheerleading this past week. Avon, a Class C champion locally. Congrats to the Braves, a fine program built out there over the years. You also had Avon win a Section 5 swimming title in Class C, and that title came without the Braves having a single individual sectional champion. So a complete team effort for Avon to win that title. And several individual efforts did take place that earned several local athletes titles throughout this swim season. And the Glow region is seemingly getting better and better every year in terms of its vastness of athletic ability and just diversity in terms of succeeding in so many different sports. It's really been impressive to see some of these sports within the Genesee region go from really afterthoughts to now leading the way in terms of small school success within Section 5, specifically the Genesee Region League basketball teams. The Genesee Region League, in terms of basketball, used to be widely known as the worst league within Section 5 in terms of competitive value, and over the years it's turned into one of the pound for pound most competitive and successful leagues within all of small school Section 5. This year alone, you have defending champion Oakfield, defending champion Notre Dame, both top 3 seeds within their classification, working their way to what they hope is another sectional title run. You also have Pembroke, number 1 within Class C2. You have Byron Burgeon, number 2 within Class C3. So, I mean, it's just been an unbelievable run for Genesee Region teams over the past several years, and it's really all coming to a head this year with 4 or 5 teams in contention for a title. On the other end of the spectrum, it's really been a relative down year for Livingston Conference boys basketball. You have York leading the way as a defending champion, and they have another chance at the title as a 2 seed in Class C2. You also have Avon, 3-time defending champion within Class C1, and Geneseo, the 3 seed behind 2 seed Avon in Class C1. But really beyond that, you have Warsaw, contender in Class C1, but kind of on the outside looking in. And Leroy's had its struggles this year, and Calmum has taken a significant step back, and Livonia's been up and down. So it hasn't been the depth that we've seen from the Livingston Conference over the past number of years, but still a couple of teams right at the top in terms of York and Avon. And even if you could count Geneseo and Leroy as 3 seeds as teams with a outside chance of winning a championship this year, especially Leroy with the talent that Merritt Holly Jr. is. He'll be the best player on the floor more often than not. Free ball from Pocock, no good. Augusto, strong rebound and the putback. Leroy continues to pour it on. They're ahead by 21 here at Leroy High School. Once again, we thank our sponsors. Bubba's Landscape. All mulch is triple ground at Bubba's, Mia. It's triple ground, so that's a good thing. Brown hardwood, black diamond, red okra, mushroom compost, which in some ways sounds appetizing. Not the compost part, but the mushroom part. Big mushroom guy. Mushroom pasta, put it on your steak. Mia, not a big mushroom girl. Topsoil doesn't sound as appetizing, but I'm sure Bubba's does a fine job with that as well. 585-768-6578. Also, Genesee Community College, over 120 scholarships offered, and 88% of full-time students receive financial aid at GCC. Little known fact, Mia, I'm a GCC alumnus. Took me a little bit longer than most people to get through, but made it through. Here I am today and still surviving. So Genesee Community College, can't recommend it enough. Also, Orcon Industries, if you have anything fragile, you want to send a lamp, a photo in a frame, anything, Orcon Industries, it'll keep your fragile items secure. Yeah, I did a little mushroom ragu with my steak the other night. It was delicious. I had never had the mushroom ragu, but I'm a fan. I've had ragu out of the can, like the canned sauce, but never mushroom ragu. I think ragu actually comes out of the jar, not the can. I don't think they can pasta sauce. Maybe they do. I guess like a pizzeria or something like that. Larger quantities they would, but I digress. Enough mushroom talk. So Mia, you were at the Geneseo Canisteo Greenwood game last night. Not Geneseo's best performance. They went in as the higher seed. They struggled a bit on their, not on their home floor, so that could play into it as well, as they were forced to play at Calmon with your school's gymnasium still under construction. Mia, a Geneseo student, but what did you see from Geneseo in that game that really didn't allow them to get off to such a good start? And they finished strong, but it was tough there for a little while. What did you see during that game?
Well, our Geneseo team has a habit of getting a late start. They let teams play with them when they shouldn't, and they don't really wake up till the second quarter. So I bet coach is really talking to them about starting strong, so they're not worried by the come fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's what I saw when I was watching the stream. It seemed like, and this could be the case when you're the higher seed in sectionals, you kind of have one eye set on the next round, and you don't put your best foot forward to begin the pre-quarterfinal matchup while you look ahead to that quarterfinal or semifinal matchup. In this case, for Geneseo, they now have set up a semifinal matchup with Avon coming up on Monday night. We'll likely have that game streamed for you on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. But when you are a team with sectional title aspirations, it's really hard sometimes in those first two games of the tournament to put your best effort forward because, like I said, you do have that other eye on future rounds. And like Mia alluded to, I'm sure Coach Greg Hepler, who does a great job with that program, will be in his kids' ears over the next few days trying to make sure they come out with a good start, in that game against the Braves. It will be the third matchup between these two teams this season, as Avon took the second matchup, Geneseo took the first matchup. So a rubber match in the sectional semifinal. It doesn't get much better than that. Only way it does get better is if it's right here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. And if they're serving mushroom ragu in the media room. So 22-point game here. We have reached the midpoint of this fourth quarter, this B2 quarterfinal matchup. Leroy in firm control over Bath-Haverling. Hagedorn from the corner, no good. McKenzie leading the break, pushes it ahead to Parker Dowell, and a nice save to Holly Jr. And it looks like subs will begin to come on for Leroy. 3:20 remaining here in the fourth. It's now a 24-point lead. I would imagine we'll see Coach Weinman empty the bench here shortly. Nerby for three, no good. Kicked around and into the hands of Holly Jr. Now Leroy has it. And a nice move from Staba, finishing at the rim. Staba has shown no fear here tonight. Not in the starting lineup, and has come in off the bench and done a nice job putting the ball on the floor along the baseline and creating some opportunities for his team. And we have a timeout called by Leroy, perhaps to get some substitutes in here. And Mia's going to show you our sponsors once more. Oh yeah, I forgot we didn't finish. Casella Waste will save your business time and money on trash and recycling services. Affordable and reliable local service, containers of all sizes, and free delivery of those containers. Not the trash and recycling, obviously, is available. Call 585-308-0662 for a quote today. Yeah, that'd be a tough look if you have a business that's delivering trash. I don't think that's a good business model. So, delivery of the containers for Casella Waste, and Casella does a great job sponsoring sports here on the Batavia Daily News Sports Network. Also, Crazy Cheap Cars, the ultimate in price and selection, and UR Medicine Noise Health, the ultimate, or excuse me, not the ultimate. Quality care close to home. I'm getting my taglines confused, Mia. It's all blending together. We want to remind you we have two more games coming up this afternoon and this evening. Livonia taking on Batavia at 3 p.m., and then Honeoye taking on Notre Dame at 6 p.m. Those are the B1 and D1 quarterfinal, respectively. So Leroy looking to put the finishing touches on what appears set to be a victory here over Bath-Haverling. They've emptied the bench, have the Knights. As you see, Kokitis, you see Staba, Luce, Also, Matt Hockey and Adam Woodworth into the game for Leroy. What a last name for a basketball player, Mia. Hockey. We've heard that name a lot throughout this region, throughout the years. Michael Hockey, Mitch Hockey, and now Matthew Hockey, the 3 M's in the Hockey family. Staba. Nice aggressive move down the lane, but he couldn't get the finish off glass. More subs coming on for Leroy. And boy, there are a lot of them. This is a healthy roster here for Leroy boys basketball. Jace Jadrewski, Jagger Smith, Braden Chase, and Peter Clark onto the floor. They join Hockey for the final 1:16 of this fourth quarter. Good moment for these guys. I bet a lot of them JV call-ups, getting a chance to experience a little taste of sectional basketball in front of a good crowd here at Leroy. One thing that's been questionable about tonight, or this afternoon, Mia, the Leroy student section did a great job showing up in their St. Patty's Day finest. They've been standing the whole game. I'm not sure they've said a word the whole game. So great representation, and the cheerleading crew obviously has been very vocal, but Cavalry a bit timid here this afternoon, I must say. And an inside finish for Jace Jadrewski. Say that 5 times fast. I think I'm wearing Mia out with my corny dad jokes here. Oh, she shakes her head yes to confirm that fact. 11 seconds remaining. 30-point win for Leroy here in the Class B2 quarterfinal. Alex Brasky and Mia Laughlin signing off from Leroy High School. Join us in about a half hour for Livonia versus Batavia. We'll see you